Currently, about 920,000 people are on antiretroviral treatment in South Africa. The budget provides for the number to rise to 2.1 million people in 2012-13. In addition, we will continue to broaden the use of public-private partnerships in the health sector, in particular to improve our hospital system. The flagship public-private partnership hospital project, Minister Motsoaledi has bought me a nice bottle of mineral water to say this. The flagship hospital project will be the Chris Hani Baragwanath Hospital, for which a feasibility study is now complete. In addition, the new George Makari Hospital and the Polokwane Academic Health Complex are also being fast-tracked. Alongside long-term reforms to the financing of healthcare, a closer partnership between the public and private healthcare systems is a prerequisite for the introduction of a national health insurance system. Our total national and provincial health spending is projected to be 105 billion rands next year. Mr. Speaker, education spending remains our largest item of spending, giving meaning to our commitment that it is our #1 priority. The total budget for education next year is 165 billion rands, and Minister Motseka and Minister Nzimande have not bought me mineral water yet. To roll out workbooks in all 11 official languages, to help raise our literacy and numeracy levels, and to test all learners in grades 3, 6, and 9, a further 2.7 billion rands is allocated to the Department of Basic Education. Expanding and improving capacity at our FET colleges is a vital part of our growth strategy. We have set ourselves ambitious targets to expand the number of young people studying vocational subjects. The budget for FET colleges of 12 billion rands over 3 years has been shifted from the provinces to the national department. No wonder Minister Nzimande is looking so cheerful today. A further 1.3 billion rands is allocated to improve the salaries of FET college educators. Mr. Speaker, Parliament in its report on the medium-term budget policy statement correctly identified the need for more spending and better coordination in the important area of rural development. In addition to the funds allocated to the Department of Rural Development and Land Affairs for the Comprehensive Rural Development Strategy, we are setting up a new grant to support on-site water and sanitation infrastructure as part of the Rural Housing Program. An initial 1.2 billion rands over 3 years is provided to Ministers Nkwinti and Sonjika to spend. Minister Sekwale will be happy to hear that the Human Settlements Grant is one of the fastest growing grant items in the budget. Supported by rising spending on water and sanitation, these investments are critical to reshaping our townships, cities, informal settlements, and rural areas. The State of the Nation address correctly identified a key gap in the housing market where middle-income people cannot access sufficient finance to afford homes. Government and the banks will work together to find appropriate financing support measures so that more people can access home loans. An additional, of course, Minister Sekwale is going to add $1 billion of his own money there. An additional 3.6 billion rands is allocated to the Department of Trade and Industry for Minister Davies to take forward the industrial policy interventions consistent with the government's new industrial policy action plan. In particular, these funds go to support investment and production in the automotive components and clothing and textile industries. Minister Patel will be quite happy with that as well. The local government equitable share receives a further 6.7 billion rands to support municipalities to cushion poor households for the rising cost of electricity and water. An additional 2.5 billion rands goes to the municipal infrastructure grant. total allocations to municipalities rise from 55 billion rands in 2009-10 to 78 billion rands in 2012-13. Minister, are you happy? Okay. We are mindful of the fact that even though transfers to municipalities have increased strongly over the past 5 years, service delivery problems still persist. We are working with the Minister for Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, Minister Shteka, to resolve these problems, to improve financial management, and to ensure that higher spending allocations translate into real improvements in people's lives. Over the 2009-2014 period, the second phase of the expanded Public Works program aims to create 4.5 million short-term job opportunities. An estimated, I hope you got the opportunities right, ladies and gentlemen. An estimated total of 52 billion rands is available for various expanded public works programs over the next 3 years. The MTEF allocations include an additional 2.5 billion rands that will support labor-intensive projects in the social, non-state and environmental sectors, largely targeted at rural areas. And Ministers Nkwinti, Patel and Jumat Peterson will be giving effect to those programs. In 2010-11, 89 billion rands will be spent on social grants. Provision has been made for the phased extension of the child support grant up to a child's 18th birthday. The state old age pension and the disability grant increases by 70 rands to 1,080 rands a month. The child support grant increases by 10 rands to 250 rands a month. We recognize that the increase in the child support grant is slightly below the inflation rate, but the social benefit and the cost of bringing 2 million more children into the net implies that we have to adjust this grant more moderately, and Ministers Molewa and Mahenda Sibia would be quite happy to implement those programs on our behalf. Mr. Speaker, the savings exercise that we have undertaken must be seen as a first step to getting better value for money. Too often, the culture in the public service and in state-owned enterprises is to ratchet up salaries, spend on frills, spend more on marketing the agency than in fixing the service. Jointly with Minister Chabane's new department, we will be conducting a comprehensive evaluation of several key spending areas this year with a view to eliminating ineffective programs and generally improving value for money. We have released a draft terms of reference of the comprehensive expenditure review today as well. Furthermore, we will investigate the possibility of rationalizing some of our entities and agencies to see if we can deliver the same service at a lower cost. The resources that we have at our disposal belong to the people out there. If we do not use these wisely and sensibly, our contact with the people is seriously eroded. Public sector investment is a crucial component of development, as it provides the infrastructure through which we transport goods, we power the economy, and connect households and businesses to services and markets. Over the next 3 years, the public sector aims to spend 846 billion rands on its infrastructure program.